When you look in a magazine or see a picture and think the tree is amazing, do you think it's impossible to mimic such a thing in your home? We hope to counteract that thought today and help you build the perfect and most beautiful Christmas tree. With some easy tips and some great suggestions, we hope we can help you have a tree that is magazine worthy and show-stopping to anyone that enters your home for the holidays. Today we're going to show you a lot of different steps on how to have the perfect Christmas tree. From finding a quality artificial tree to be environmentally friendly, to stringing your lights evenly and distributing them perfectly throughout the tree, to picking different and unique ornaments that set off your tree and give it a great and natural look, to finishing it with just the right touches that give it that added bonus and make it look professional. The most important thing to start with is the Christmas tree. Now, a lot of people like to use a real Christmas tree, and while we love the idea, we try to be as economical and resourceful as possible. So the best thing for us is to use an artificial tree. You get the perfect look this way and don't have to trim it, or worry about it year to year and where you're going to find the perfect one. When using an artificial tree, it's really important to fluff out the branches. Since they're metal, they'll be packed for shipment in tight bunches. So you want to come up into the tree and start fluffing out all the branches individually to give them a more lifelike appearance. We take each branch individually. This might take a lot of time in the beginning, but you'll be really surprised how through the season, each branch has a lot more definition to it and texture for it to see. This also will give you a lot more placement and options to put your ornaments on it, because you'll have a lot more spread out branches. It's important to go out through the whole tree and do this evenly, otherwise you'll start noticing different holes when you look at it from a long ways away. After fluffing the tree, the next important part, and probably what's one of the most crucial things about putting up a tree, is the lights. You want the lights to be magical, you want it to be full, and you want it to look even throughout the tree. So it's important to take a lot of time with the lights. We like to weave them in and around each branch individually. While you might think this is a lot of time in the beginning, you'll notice it really pays off once your tree is done, as you'll see the twinkling lights all throughout the tree. And remember, it's probably going to take a lot more lights than you're expecting, so buy extra lights and have them on hand. Because usually by the time you get done with the tree, you'll be using a lot more of the hundreds than you think. When you get to the end of a strand like we did here, we like to cut off the tags so you don't see those white things. Connect the new strand to your old strand, and we like to hide them by taking one of the metal branches and wrapping it around the two ends and curling it up into the tree so it's never seen from the outside. It's small touches like this that will make your tree have a lot more professional and clean look in the end. When adding a new strand onto your tree, make sure to look at the caution and warning labels on the box. Many times, 100 bulb strands only want 4 put together at once. So, we had to run an extension cord up the center of our tree to connect halfway through. That way, you don't have any fire hazards. When shopping for an artificial Christmas tree, a good way to tell if it's a good tree is how tightly the branches and artificial leaves are wound up on the metal frame. As you can see, this one is very tightly wound with a good nylon that matches the color of the tree. This way you know it's a good quality tree that will last the test of time. We've completed putting the lights on. Once you think you're done, make sure to step back and do one final overall check to see if they're even. Personally, I like to step back, squint my eyes a little bit, and you'll notice that when you do that, all you see is the lights coming through. And then you get the overall shape of the lights to the tree and see how even they are in comparison. It's just a little trick I like to do to try to make sure they're even. You may be wondering why we didn't go with the popular choice and get a pre-lit tree. It's harder to find the ones that aren't, but we think it pays off in the long run. Many times, as you're probably all aware, you get frustrated because a strand will go out or a half a strand of lights will go out. When you buy a pre-lit tree, it's very time intensive to cut out all the lights that are put on the tree by the manufacturer. So when you buy a non-pre-lit tree, you can take off the strand just as we put them on and put a new strand on. That will keep the life of your tree for many years. You'll be able to reuse it. after the lights are on comes the fun part of being able to start decorating and accessorizing your tree. I like to put the garland on first so I can see the big spaces that need to be filled in and space it out evenly. A good trick to save money on garland is to just buy enough for the front of the tree if it's going in a spot where a lot of people won't see the back. As you can see here, we are just using 3 big pieces of this great fun sparkly brown garland. We don't have enough to go all the way in the back, but no one on this side is ever going to be able to see that. This is a great time to talk about how to choose the style of tree you want to do. We're doing a lot of earth tones on this tree, of nature-inspired colors, browns and taupes and burlaps. But you may have a lot of different ideas for your tree. Maybe you have a family-inspired tree, or a tree full of vintage ornaments from a lot of different family. If you have a conglomeration of a lot of different ornaments, like ones your kids have made or different family have given you, it might be a smart idea to buy some sets of colored, uniform ornaments to tie the whole tree together and give it a clean look. I like to lay all of my ornaments I'm going to use out in rows so I see what I have to work with and know what sizes I need to use. When starting to put the ornaments on the tree, I like to start with the biggest ones first because they take up the most space and you can fill in the biggest holes you see with them. When putting these large size ornaments on the tree, make sure to find a spot where you can find a good sturdy branch that won't hang too low with the weight of the ornament. After you have your largest ornaments on the tree, go to the next size down and start evenly placing them throughout the tree. As you can see, we really stuck to the nature-inspired tones. We think it will be great in the sunroom that the homeowner is having this tree put in. As you can see, we try to think of a lot of different elements when picking ornaments. We found some clear ones and some colored ones. A lot of people think you have to stick to the normal greens and reds at Christmas time, but as you can see, any color can be festive when put in the right surroundings. That's kind of the fun part about putting your own tree together. You can do what already fits the design aesthetic of your house with different elements. Continue to evenly place the ornaments that you have for your tree. Make sure that none 2 ornaments alike are too close together, especially if you don't have very many. Because it's amazing once you get a tree done how you'll really notice the small things like that. You want to make sure that the ornament hangs down and isn't askew. This will make it look unnatural. If it doesn't fit, bend some of the branches, another plus of having an artificial tree, around it so it hangs level. We like to find ornaments that have a lot of different visual interest. A lot of ours have been in the shape of pine cones and acorns and round balls, but these are longer and have a lot different look to them. We found them in 2 different sizes, and so they'll look great compared to the other ones. Even though we chose a nature-inspired theme, make sure to pick a lot of different colors within your theme. We picked dark brown for some of the pine cones, to ambers, and even a green amber. This will give the tree a more lifelike appearance, and will give it a lot better visual interest. It's always fun to add a little touch of whimsy to your tree and do something a little unexpected. That's exactly what these hand-blown curly Q ornaments do. To finish the nature-inspired tree, we're going to add a variety of birds around the tree to just make sure it seems at home in its element. As you can see, we chose some fun colors and some that even don't necessarily go with the tree at first glance but will blend in nicely. After giving a final surveillance to the tree, I found a few empty spots I thought something extra was needed. So I went through my house and found these great real feathers that I had in a vase and I was going to put away for Christmas. Well, what a better place to use them than in the tree. It's the perfect nature inspiration to give the tree a final and flawless look. A step ladder will come in handy when finishing the top of the tree. The traditional tree would have a star on top, but we try to embellish it with something a little different and something that's extra fun. Here we're using some nature-inspired moss-covered and frost-covered sticks to give the tree a great finishing touch that will be unexpected and beautiful. We use long picks so we can have a lot of base to go down into the tree and to stabilize the branches as they come out the top. We made sure to find some different sizes and different styles of ones to give it a great look. We've put the final touches on the tree. As you can see, it turned out quite perfectly. Putting a tree together is a lot easier than it may seem at first. You just need to pick your theme, your colors, what you want to use, and tie it all together. Make sure your tree has a great look, as we said with this artificial one. Have your lights evenly distributed and the ornaments placed ever so perfectly around the tree. The extra time it takes you to put a tree together will be so enjoyed throughout the season and to anyone that walks through your door. You don't have to have expensive ornaments or perfection to have a beautiful tree, just extra time and quality pieces to tie it all together. Thank you for allowing the Gray Boxwood to give you some great Christmas tree tips. We hope you can enjoy them all season long.